Some more NBA conversations too, Rob, that's involving Steph Curry in a recent interview. Rob G, if you want to break it down, some of some interesting thoughts or comments coming from Steph Curry, kind of talking about the end of the road.
That's right. So Steph Curry is basically being seen as the what is it, like the Pied Piper of All-Star Weekend. It's in his city. It's on his foam floor. There's been a lot of features done on him and about him here in the last 72 hours. So one that we're talking about here in this instance, longtime NBA, NFL, MLB writer Tim Kawakami got him an exclusive.
That's my buddy Tim Kawakami.
With the San Francisco Standard. Never heard of that one, but I'm sure it's a great paper. And in the interview, Kawakami asked Steph, like, hey, how do you envision the last few years of your NBA career going? And here's what he said in part. Competitive. I've seen different scenarios, like everyone talks about Kobe, his last few years. From my vantage point, I'm comparing it to guys that only played for one franchise. Dirk, Tim Duncan, Kobe from our era. You don't want to be in a situation Lakers in the last 3 years with Kobe. I know he came off the Achilles injury, but it was like they were a lottery team. And it was more just about how many points can Kobe score down the stretch of his career. I don't want to be in that scenario. I'm sure that's what our fans want to see, me playing meaningful games, no matter how it ends.
Kelvin?
Well, I'll say this. For somebody who, usually is kind of parcels out his words sparingly, doesn't necessarily, doesn't take any and every opportunity to talk about things. That was an interesting statement, specifically the Kobe one for me. Just because obviously he's no longer with us.
It was bad though, but it was surprised that he did bring up Kobe.
Yeah, it's verbatim what I was going to say. It wasn't what he said was
bad.
wrong.
No, it was bad. They didn't make the playoffs, Rob G, did they?
No,
the last 5 years?
No, they were bad. Remember they had the number two pick. It was a rough go, but I'm just more or less anything. I'm just shocked that he actually, the way in which he said that, because of how beloved Kobe was and just the legendary career. I get what he's saying. Steph Curry is saying that I want to still be playing for something. I don't want to just be out here just to be out here, especially when he is known nothing but winning for maybe 75% of his career, at least being in the have a chance to compete for a championship. You become accustomed to that. So I can understand and appreciate.
See, that's why I disagree with all of this.
Say
that they have to be. You got to like mortgage the future, destroy your team so that they can be, playing on a team that, hypothetically or, it has a chance to win or whatever. And I'm not saying he should be on a terrible team or maybe that's your cue to retire or something, but it's not a birthright. A lot of great players played where teams were bad at the end. Like a lot.
But right, totally. That happened. I mean, it probably happens far more greater than the opposite.
To 90%, 95%.
Yeah,
on that side of it.
Yeah, because you were a large portion of what made the team
you had
great,
your
and you
run
are
and
a
all
diminished
that, and
version
100%.
of yourself.
You know this with the Bad Boys, right? After the Bad Boys,
it tanked.
It
hard.
tanked after the Larry Bird, Robert Parrish. Kevin McHale,
weren't good
they went 19 years. They went 19 years without winning a championship, and they were bad. Like
the only thing, though, I don't. So I think what you're saying is very much what has happened most of the time. I think there are a few rare occasions. I'll give you an example in Tim Duncan. One team competitive from literally beginning of his career to the literal end. They won a ring in 2014, I believe it was. So Tim Duncan being a rare occasion where, hey, I was competitive. You can even say Kareem competing for championships to the end. So Kareem, he wasn't one team, though, so he kind of almost be dismissed for this. But Tim Duncan being that example. But I saw when you get used to winning, I can see him saying, what's the point of playing and we just win 20 games? What's the point of playing? We win 15 games. I'm not used to that. There's no point. I want to be competing. I'm not saying I have to win it, but being in the mix, which is why I think he is excited, Draymond excited, and Jimmy Butler for this trade, so they can say at least we're competitive. Right now, we're won 3 out of 4, I believe, with Jimmy, and they feel like, okay, we got something here that we can at least try the second half of the season to compete. So I understand when he says that, but I will say it is interesting. Steph, I do think, still gets held to slightly different standard than the peers that people put him in the ranks with. And like, if his team isn't bad, it's kind of, the team. It's less about him. If his team isn't performing greatly, they don't make the postseason a couple of years back when he was still in his prime. It's, Kevin Durant left. It's, they don't have a good this. When nobody's saying he has to win a championship every year, but where people place him in that Kobe, LeBron, Shaq, Tim Duncan era, it's kind of like, no, I'm going to need you to sometimes single-handedly keep your team in the mix. Sometimes make these teams more competitive, because you still had some talent on those Warriors teams, and he kind of gets a scapegoat even in the finals, where he doesn't play well and nobody really talks about it. He doesn't really show up at times. People kind of give him a pass.
We talk about it all the time, the big shots, the turnovers.
Yeah,
there are moments there where stuff hasn't played well.
And he has kind of gotten a pass for where people place him. If they were saying he was top 20, then okay, great. But people already have him, Rob, top 10. Some people already tell he's top 5 after this last championship.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
And I'm like, hold on, because I told Rob G earlier, we talked about that. I said, when y'all start saying top 10, this goes for rappers too, or greatest rock bands, whatever, you got to start naming them. And if you're putting them in the top 5, then okay, so who's out? Kobe's out, LeBron's out, Kareem's out, Jordan's out, Magic's out. Like, who's out? You can't just, he's top 5 now. He's top 10. Okay, then we already named the 5. Is Larry Bird out? Is Shaq out? Is Tim Duncan out? You know what I mean? He just starts, hold on now, when you start just throwing guys in the top 10. But my point is, Steph has gotten there's like a different expectation, or he kind of gets a scapegoat more than I think guys at his caliber or where people want to rank him do historically. Kobe, the LeBrons, the Shaqs, he kind of gets a bailout more and what's being expected of him and his greatness and his team's performance that I've ever seen for where people rank him.
No, I agree.
It's just the Warriors aren't good. That's it.
Well, they don't expect small guys, right, guards to lead teams. That's what makes Isaiah, like when people discount what Isaiah was able to do, without another top 50 player. He went through Bird, he went through
Jordan Magic.
And Magic all in their primes. I find that to be shocking on how little people figure that out, or and Steph doesn't get that at all. He really doesn't.
And that's what's been weird to me, because where people rank him, it's like the Warriors are bad. He's a very healthy 36. Like, he's still, he's not beat down and broken down. And it's like, the Warriors, like, they're terrible. And it's like, okay, not saying they should be a number 1 seed, but I'm just saying where people would place other people of his greatness to, he does get tendency to kind of get the team versus him. Whereas LeBron or Kobe or, prime Shaq or prime other people,
I'll give you the perfect example. The 3-1 choke job to the Cavaliers. If that was LeBron or somebody else,
that would be the starting at Sports Center every day. Still.
It would be the end of it, because no team has ever choked down a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. Right? That Steph was Steph. KD wasn't there. Remember, they go, well, Draymond missed the game 5. But wait a minute. There were still 2 more games, including he lost game 7 at home. And all year, they hadn't lost more than 2 games in a row, and they lost 3 in a row to lose the finals. Like how did that not leave a mark?
Yeah, and it does, like, people will bring it up, but it's not like blasphemy. And it's not like crazy talk, whereas LeBron would literally, might as well retire. It's like, just walk away, because that would never happen. If Kobe did that, just walk away. Don't ever bring him up again. And some of the other greats. If Magic Johnson did that, but with that being said, one thing I give him credit for me, was his last finals run that he had when they beat Boston a couple, 2-3 years ago, because I always wanted to see, could he absolutely unequivocally lead a team where it was him, when it was not, you need a team to win. Magic, Bird, Kobe, everybody had team and great teammates around them. But I'm saying we still know who the best player was, and it's not a question. Or you weren't, could you be the best player on the court in an entire final series? Because even when they won in 2015, the best player was still LeBron. When they won in 2016, clearly it was LeBron, because the Cavs won that year. And then the 17 and 18, well, that was Kevin Durant. So at one point I wanted to see, could Steph be the absolute best player in a finals no matter the team, his own team or the opposing team. And I finally got to see that, a couple years back when they beat the Celtics. So I was happy to see that, because for me, that was kind of that one of those final checks.
Yeah, but that didn't erase the other one for me.
No, it doesn't. Oh, no. I didn't say erase. Brother, we ain't got no eraser. This is a big pin.
Especially
it's
since
a pin.
The one that's just you can't let go is that it's never happened in the history of the league. You know what I mean? Like that is an unbelievable stain on Steph Curry's resume. All right.